They think that I just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, wait, I'm here. Who wanted to fight me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. Oh man, it's always an honor and a privilege to be able to get out here and talk some old boxing talk, man. Yes. Hope everybody's doing all right, man. I really just wanted to come out here for a little while, man, and talk some boxing, man. I know we rounding out the end of the year. Depending on how you look at it, boxing, you could say boxing is a little dry, or not. 80-20. It's all in what we focus on. Cookie Monster. Bodywork. Salute Cookie Monster. I appreciate you. I'm sounding Cookie Monster. Can I get my microphone check? Microphone check. Mic check, 1 2 1 2, sounding loud and clear. That's what I like to hear. I appreciate you. But as the year round out, man, I'm really trying to. I call this the pulse of boxing. So I'm really trying to get a GPS on where boxing is right now, and it is a little challenging. Boxing is all over the place, man. Depending on who you listen to and what their agenda is. I try not to have it. The only agenda over here is just to speak that real boxing talk, man. For the most part, man, we say what most people are afraid to say. Silence is consent is the motto of the channel. Meaning that all it takes for evil to prevail is for men and women to remain silent. So we speak to those things. And we try to put a voice to things that aren't the easiest things to say. Contrary to popular belief, man, you can't deny the influence that Bodywork be having on the sport of boxing, man. Especially with boxing conversations, man. Have y'all seen all of the shine that Richardson Hitchens been getting lately? Have you been seeing all the shine that Gary Russell been getting lately? Do y'all see it? Good, good, good. Hopefully we can get Abdullah Mason some shine. How about that? You know, it's something that I've been going over the last couple times, because in today's day and time, it's at an all-time high, and that's gaslighting. The practice of psychologically manipulating someone into questioning their own sanity, memory, or powers of reasoning. And remember, I always say that, man, your powers of reasoning are welcome over here. We appreciate it. This is not a yes man channel. You do not have to agree with anything I say. All I ask is that you use some common sense, man. Be respectful when you use some common sense. I don't think that that's too hard to ask. And be yourself. You know, they say that most people are born originals and they die copies. And I'm seeing that online, man. It's a lot of copycats online, man. It's a little frustrating, man, when you see a lot of people being copycats, man. Just be original. And hopefully we can turn the page, man, even though there's no real difference between December the 31st and January 1st. There's really no real difference. We act like it, though. We turn the page and, yeah, we're going to be saying 2026 and, you know, leaving 2025 and all that jive, but there's really no difference, you know. But hopefully, we're going to play the game, man. Hopefully, we're going to leave a lot of the BS in 2025 as we say hello to 2026. You know, but I say let's all hop over the fence, man. You know what I'm saying? We're approaching the fence. It's a time when we're going to go from 2025 at 11:59 into midnight of 2026. And what we need to do is we need to leave a lot of that shit back over the fence, man. We all need to climb up and jump over and leave a lot of the bullshit in 2025 as we approach 2026. How about that? You know, I challenge you, man. I challenge you, man, to don't be so narrative driven. You know, use common sense in 2026. Even though all sense ain't common. You know, use some critical thinking skills. Don't be afraid to say what is right and exact in real time. Don't be so hindsight is 2020-ish in 2026. How about that? Because me, man, I get a lot of criticism, man. I have a lot of people scratching their heads. I have a lot of people saying, oh, he think he this, he think he that. You know what I'm saying? Because I be speaking that real shit in real time. Only for people to come by in hindsight and say the same shit. Ain't that something? That's gaslighting. Remember I said powers of reasoning, memory, things like that. They'll have you second guessing your memory. Like, when I get into this housekeeping, y'all gonna see what I'm talking about just a little bit. But I want to prep you for the conversation, man. Remember, 80% of boxing, since we're still getting it and there's still fights, 80% of it is good. We just tend to focus on the 20%. I say that all the time, but it's an 80-20 rule. It's real. And a lot of times people who have the narrative, who have a grasp, who have a audience, they'll have you thinking one thing. You know, they'll do the old sleight of hand. And a lot of y'all, I see a lot of y'all have Stockholm syndrome. You know, a lot of y'all like to, I like to stick around and get abused, man. I don't do that to y'all. The only abuse that I use is the one that you don't like if you don't like the truth. Other than that, man, I try to be a breath of fresh air, man. We get off the beaten path over here. We put stakes in the ground for people who don't have a true voice. I can't help but use Richardson Hitchens as an example because, he's one of my guys. And I noticed that I found a lot of people just like blindly just hating on the man, just shitting on the man. He can't talk his shit. They think he too cocky. And I'm like, hold on, man. I like a lot of the things that we be hating all these other boxers for, and we say like the boxing dads, like these overzealous, over confrontational, lying dads. He don't have one of those. He don't have a band of brothers. He got Coach Lenny. He talking shit. He just talking. He speaking stuff. Sometimes, some of the things I don't agree with everything. He came out and said some questionable things the other day. I didn't hold it against him. That's his opinion. But I can do that. I want to challenge you all to try to do that in 2026, man. Y'all got a couple days to get, this bullshit out of your system. You know what I'm saying? Before we cross over, before we jump over the fence and we leave all that bullshit back in 2025 when we go into 2026. So we got a couple days. You got a couple days to still play the games that you play. Still do a little bit of that gaslighting. Get it out your system. And we're going to turn over a new leaf in 2026. How about that? Just try to judge accordingly, man. Have the same standard for everybody. Don't hold one fighter to one standard and then your favorite fighter, it ain't no standard. This is whatever they say. We going to roll with it. Get your roll on. Everybody get your roll on. Like, come on, man. I'm challenging y'all. That way I won't sound so crazy in real time. Maybe I'll get a couple super chats in real time. Maybe other people that come by and say the shit after me don't get all my super chats. Don't get all my cash apps. Don't get all my hypes. Don't get all the glory. It's not necessarily the glory, but it's like, it's the recognition. It's the principle of the dollar, man. I see a lot of people getting, they be getting that bread. They get acknowledgement. They get all of that. You know what I'm saying? This channel, we don't really get that much. But the points, the talking points, the theory, the logic, people get appreciated for it after it's said over here in other places. And it's still happening, man. I hate to browbeat the people that's here that appreciate the channel, man. But I got to, because I know y'all listening, man. Don't be over here pilfering. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. Like, use your burner account, man. Give a donation to this channel, because I be seeing y'all getting paid for this shit, man. I be seeing y'all getting paid for it, man. And it's not right. It's not right, man. You got a couple more days to get this bullshit out your system. CJ, I get it, but nah, I got Crawford as fighter of the year when that Canelo fight was first rumored. The experts treated it like some Jake Paul shit. I definitely appreciate your opinion. And we know that Bud fans, Bud fans is gonna put Bud at number one, like no matter what. So that's cool. I got my reasons as to why I have Abdullah Mason as the fighter of the year. And we'll get into that when it's time. But I appreciate you. I appreciate you, CJ Rich, man. I hope you're doing well, man. Positive vibes your way, brother. Let's get into this housekeeping, man. I just wanted to I wanted to challenge y'all. I wanted to challenge you, man, to be a little more mature in 2026. You don't gotta be as serious as me, but like you ain't gotta be, you know, you can laugh, you can joke, but keep your eye on the prize. I just wanted to challenge whoever's listening, whoever could hear the sound of my voice, to be a little bit more deliberate when it comes to the sport in 2026. Because we let a lot of things slip and slide in 2025. And I don't know if y'all noticed, but boxing is taking on a different complexion. You know, years ago when I first started, one of my first videos was when it was around the time when Canelo had left Caleb Plant at the altar. You know, that's been a minute ago, right? And I was actually saying that boxing was looking more like wrestling, and I would rant. I would do these little rants. You know, I would have these little rants all day, and I'm like, man, boxing is turning into wrestling, man. Boxing is just WWE, and like, I would just rant. Especially when that's the time when I used to sip. You know what I'm saying? You know what they say when you be sipping. That you prone to like really say what's on your heart. So, you know, I get off work, I go out on my little balcony. I had my little drinky drink. I had my little smoky smoke. And I'll talk boxing, but it was just a string of rants. A lot of truth though, but it'd be a string of rants. Like every day I was ranting. I was doing it every day. Then I was doing videos. I would do a video. Yeah, I was doing a video style. I don't think I was really going live, but it was just a rant. And I pointed out that boxing was looking more like wrestling. And I think it's actually crossed over. You know, we can see it if you happen to sprinkle a little bit of bread down on the betting lines, if you happen to see how people pick their opponents, if you see how the over is manipulated, if you see how people are starting to, you notice how people, because just don't take my word for it. Listen to how people are saying script. Oh, was he gonna stick to the script? Or we know, like, think about how often that is being said. Don't take my word for it, but just listen to your favorite content creator. Listen to the other guys that's out here, you know, that have a message. Why are they using the word script? Like, what does script allude to? That boxing is fixed, right? More and more, right? More and more, it's like some wrestling shit, right? More and more, it's more like, you know, there was a thing, I harped on this a couple months ago, and I was talking about bread and circuses. You know, y'all know about bread and circuses? But it was this thing about bread and circuses. And I know, you know, I have my little things, you know, I've like that minute that Times Square called, I called it a circus. You know what I'm saying? I did. And I was happy when the circus left, because I felt like it was a bunch of shenanigans. I felt like it was a bunch of matchmaking, but like more and more, boxing is being described as a spectacle. Now, we know it's a form of entertainment. Like, we be wanting to see somebody, like, for one, you gotta be a little off, just a little off anyway to be a boxing fan. Can we be honest? Because you like that mean you like seeing people get punched in the face, people get knocked on their ass, people get, get bludgeoned, get beat, get knocked out. Like you kind of like, the fact that you like that, like something gotta kind of be wrong with you just a little bit. But most people like to see somebody get dunked on, or see somebody hit a shot from long range, or a trick shot, or a crazy layup, or something. We like to see motherfuckers get we like to see people get their shit split, get beat down, get busted up, get fucked up. Like we we call for a stoppage, we call for a knockout, we call for the ref to come in and console, a guy and push another guy off. We call for it. So something got to be wrong, but we don't necessarily call for spectacles. But how often is boxing being described as a spectacle? Like, it shouldn't be a spectacle. It should be two highly skilled, highly trained pugilists playing a game of high-speed chess. Not even necessarily rock'em sock'em. But a thinking man's game to where they are afforded the opportunity that the average citizen is not. If I don't like my neighbor, I can't punch him in the face. Well, I'm not supposed to. If I don't get along with somebody at the job, I can't just punch him in the face. Well, I'm not supposed to. But in a sport where people get paid millions of dollars, it's like that. We can't even get that. We can't even get the right matches made. We can't even get the right amount of money, right? The right type of opponent. We need a freak show. We need a script. That's some WWE, WWF shit if I ever heard of it. So don't take my word for it, man. Let's be more responsible. Speak your mind. Speak the truth. If your favorite fighter is on some bullshit and they ain't doing it, don't just leave it up to one. Don't allow yourself to let yourself go. Like John Witherspoon on Soul Play, he's like, you gonna let yourself go? Cause I'm gonna let myself go. No, don't just let yourself go on one person, on one boxer. Let yourself go on all of these boxers. Like when all of them, when any of them, don't have no favoritism, don't have no preferential treatment. When a boxer is not doing what they're supposed to do, when a boxer says something that sounds funny, when a boxer is moving funny, when they acting funny, when they ducking, like, say something. I don't care if it's Usyk, I don't care if it's Inoue, I don't care if it's Bam, I don't care if it's David Bennett, like whoever it is. Allow yourself to keep that same energy. And maybe we can attempt to try to nip some of this shit in the bud, man, because I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen, man. Boxing, it's gonna be a sport to where you can no longer bet, right? You can no longer bet on it, and it's gonna be a sport to where people are not going to be willing to pay the amount of money that they need to pay to go and watch it, because they know that it's going to be fixed. Like, it's going to be a predetermined outcome. In a minute, those scales tip to where they don't like the odds, and they already can see it coming from a mile away who's going to win the fight, but they don't want that person necessarily to win. And they know that they're not going to win based on their own merit, their own skills, like the shit that they put in. Ticket sales going to go down. We just saw it. Man. We just saw a big event where they made it look like it was a bunch of people in there, but it wasn't. They made it seem like it did good, but it didn't. That's starting to happen more and more, man. I looked at some tickets for January 31st, and I'm like, man, they got to be out of their goddamn mind. I got to pay that for 2 people. Then I got to drive up there. Then I got to get room and board. We got a food. Like, no, man, no. Y'all are lunching. Y'all tripping. And I'm not even, those wasn't even seats to where if somebody get hit, at least we get, you know what I'm saying? Like, some juices might fly out. Like we wasn't, them seats wasn't even gonna be even that close. Nah, man. Allow yourself to say something, man. Allow yourself to be deliberate about boxing and say what needs to be said, man, so we can all be on one page, man. Like, let's stop all of the back and forth. Let's stop all of the, like, beefing just to be beefing and shit. If we gonna beef, let's make it be over some shit that really means something. Not because you like this fighter and I like that fighter. Let's beef. Let's beef over whether it should be a 12-pound rehydration or a 15-pound rehydration. And you standing firm on the 15 and I'm standing firm on the 12. But let's beef over some serious shit that's gonna preserve the sport, not the bullshit that we tend to beef over. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get off my soapbox, man, and I'm gonna go ahead and get down to the housekeeping. Salute the honeybee. Salute. And you said Mason on the rise. I'm looking to the future. Yeah, but I'm explaining why I have Abdullah here in a second. I'm just not there yet. Number one, the Bud fans already migrating to Boots. It's already happening. It's already happening, man. I'm already seeing. I'm already seeing the signs, man. And these Bud fans, they're slowly migrating to Boots, and they're trying to like rationalize it. You know, I see one guy who's definitely an only fan trying to campaign and petition for Boots today. I'm just like, knock it off. You know what I'm saying? Go do some stand-up or some shit. Because you funny as a motherfucker, but not really. You know what I'm saying? You funny, but not like Dave Chappelle funny. You know, you more like Kevin Hart funny. There is a difference. One of them is a clown. Let that sink in. It just kind of go to show, man, like where we are, where I don't even know. Has it been a full week? I don't even think it's been a full week. I don't even think, has it been like a full 7 days? I'm not sure. I don't even know if it's been a full 7 days, man. And the Bud fans are already the Bud fans are already filling out applications for Boots. Ain't nothing new happened with Boots. And I swear, I gotta go back. I gotta do the math. But if my memory said, like, what's today? Tuesday? It might be. We might be on a full 7 day. I gotta figure out when he put that message out. But like, I don't even know. I think it might be 7 days today. And people are already filling out their application. It's like, dang, man. Like, y'all already put y'all application in for Boots. Ain't no new news on Boots. You know what I'm saying? Just this is OnlyFans putting out material, and you know, them doing a high-speed chase after a man in Virgil Ortiz, which is kind of crazy because I heard a dude today. And like I said, I even listen to people that I don't like, man, because sometimes I learn from them. Sometimes I'm like, okay, that's a good point. Okay, cool. I'm going to put that. Okay, all right. I wasn't looking at it like that. Cool. It kind of balanced me out. But then sometimes I got to see where all of the shenanigans come from. So I got to see, like, who's putting the battery in the backs of some of these fans with some of these crazy-ass talking points that they be coming up with. So I heard a dude campaigning for Boots today in the whole Virgil thing. You know, there are some points. like the fact that Virgil know, we all can agree that Virgil knows that that's a bad fight for his style. That style, that come forward Mexican style, pressure, come forward, you know what I'm saying? Like no, like really no lateral, hardly no lateral movement, just, you know, just come forward pressure. Boots smack that shit out the park. I mean, if you want to, like a Romain Villa, Martin Stanionis, those are two people who have had like a great deal of success with that style. Boots obliterated him. That's some shit that he smacks out the park. So like, yeah, we know, like, yeah, we know that, like, Virgil, like, yeah, that's not a fight that he's not head over heels for that fight. We knew that when he said it was gonna be 48 months or whatever he said. We been knew that. Eureka. No shit, Sherlock. Captain Obvious. If I could give out a Captain Obvious award, like, we all know that that's not something that Virgil was looking to go do. Like, that's not really on his bucket list to get in there with Boots. He been said this. What I find amazing is they can tell you how, just like I said on this channel, they can sit up here and tell you how Virgil lost the board truck and how he got knocked down twice. I'm like, oh, no shit, Sherlock. Captain Obvious. Yeah, he lost. The business of boxing gave him the nod. My question is, why do Boots want to fight him so much? That's what don't make sense to me. Like, why do he want to fight Virgil so much? When that shit is like, aren't we tired of seeing Boots fight people that are tailor-made for him? Well, we want people like Richardson Hitchens to take on all. We want people like, every time somebody asks Richardson Hitchens about, every time he's asked to fight somebody like Gary Antoine Russell. He's asked to fight somebody like Keyshawn Davis. He's asked to be like, but then they give him an excuse like, oh man, why Devin? Like, come on, why Devin? That's looking back. That ain't even on Devin. But then Devin get to go fight, he get to go chase Lewis Crocker, and now he get to, in hindsight, he get to ask for a Rolly Romero. Like, these are the dumbass conversations I be talking about, because in one breath, they'll tell you how pretty much how Virgil gonna get obliterated. But then they are giving Boots a pass for chasing him. He ain't got no belt. But last week, when we found out that Devin was chasing after Lewis Crocker, belts mattered. So belts mattered last week when we found out that Devin was going after Lewis Crocker because Lewis Crocker got the IBF. So belts matter then, right? But the week before that, when Bud pulled that shit with the WBC, oh man, belts don't matter. We know who the man is. But we back to now to where belts don't matter because Boots is up here chasing the guy that he's going to obliterate. Why do he want him so bad? Why is he not chasing after the champions? When we got a guy like Xander Zayas who just got a belt, a guy in Abbas Baru who just got a belt, and they getting ready to unify their belts. Eureka! Like, it don't make no sense. That's why I love sitting around letting these people talk for like 3 hours about some shit that don't make no sense. It's like, man, you could have wrapped that shit up in about 30 minutes, bro. Because you're making a bad argument. You're making Boots kind of look bad because it's like, why is he dead set on going to go get Virgil Ortiz? For what? He don't got no belt. Oh, but he's a name. But then he's not a name. But then he got the shit beat out of him by a board truck, but he ain't never fought nobody. He ain't never had no belt. Like, so make up your goddamn mind. Why do Boots want him so bad? Like, that's a straitjacket. That's called a checkmate. That's some shit that you just can't answer. Some shit that just don't make no sense when you really think about it. But he's hard pressed, dead set, and they worried about Virgil and what he want to go do. Why? Virgil ain't nobody saying Virgil was the best in the division. Raise your hand if you said Virgil was the best in the division. He do has an extremely high knockout rate. Yeah, he do. But raise your hand if you saying that Virgil was the best in the division. I ain't not a soul. I ain't heard a soul say that Virgil was the best in the division. But for somebody that's supposed to be the heir apparent to, you know, the retired Bud Crawford and Boots, for somebody that's supposed to be that, why is he looking for Virgil? For what? That's legacy? Is that legacy? Because I'm confused. The 1 week belts matter, the next week belts don't. Like even in an argument. And then we sitting up here arguing about how much money Virgil want. That's Virgil's career. That's the money he want. That's the money he want. In one breath, you would say somebody like Richards and Hitchens is crazy for wanting 2.5. And he need to take whatever, and just make the fight and this, and this. But Keyshawn, who ain't got no belt, who lost his strap, he can ask for 2. 500 grand less with like, come on, bro. Had no fights. He shit the bed. He can ask for 2 million. Richards and Hitchens is crazy for asking for 2.5. And then Virgil was crazy for asking for 10. But yet, Boots want to fight him. And last time I checked, these same people will have a conversation and they'll sit up here and tell you, or basically back you into a corner and make you admit that Boots is the A side. But I'm like, well, goddamn, if you're the A side, where's the offer? Where's the offer that you can't refuse? But see, you can't have it both ways. That's why I say, man, you could have cut that bullshit down from 3 hours and 15 minutes down to a half an hour, bro. Why the fuck is he relentlessly pursuing Virgil Ortiz? A guy that's right up his wheelhouse, right up his alley, tailor-made. Then they don't want to pay no money, and then they gonna say, so you gonna try to strong arm the man, make him take what you want to give him, even though where's the offer? There's no offer. It's just a whole bunch of cannon fodder and bullshit because y'all are trying to migrate from Bud over to Boots. Knock it off. If Boots is the A side, tell that man send Virgil an offer he can't refuse, or go beat shit down King Kong leg. And do some Bud type shit. Like, y'all gotta make that make sense, man. Moving on to number 2. Hamza Shiraz and Diego Pacheco got ordered by the WBO. Now, Diego Pacheco and Hamza Shiraz, we did video on it not too long ago about the future of 68. Them two guys, M. Billy, also is Iglesias. We even had Berlanga up there. Berlanga got obliterated by Hamza Shiraz. His first fight moving up to 68. People kept saying, oh man, that's Turkey's guy and this and that. Like, this is one of the only guys where I'm just like, him being one of Turkey's guys or not, the dude got skills. I knew it. I knew it when I first seen Hamza box. This is not one of them guys to where you can hide behind the proverbial veil of him being one of Turkey's guys. Yeah, there was some flies in the ointment because yes, Carlos Adames did get robbed of a straight out victory. It should not have been a draw. And I wasn't even that big on Carlos Adames. Carlos Adames boxed in a way that I've never seen him box like that before. I thought he was just a big right hand. If you had any kind of lateral movement, if you had any kind of boxing skills, you know, and some decent power, you know what I'm saying, you can give him problems. But he fought the fight of his life, in my opinion. And he wound up dominating Hamza Shiraz. There was something to be said about one of Hamza's phalanges being bad in that fight. And it kind of do. If you go and you look at the next fight he had, how he was throwing them things, how he actually chose the fight, the fact that he used both his weapons equally, brought out an arsenal, brought out a array of tools out of the toolbox when he dispatched Berlanga in brutal, devastating fashion. I loved every minute of that. Talking about some humble pie. But The only thing I can say about it is, yeah, as far as that decision, it shouldn't have been a draw. Hamza should have had, you know, a L in the column. But, you know, it was what it was. That comes along with, because this is the other thing. You can't shove turkey down everybody's throat, sugar daddy shit. You can't shove them and force them and make everybody embrace him and put out all of this bail for everything that he do, but then want to pull this, oh, that's Turkey's guy. Like, no shit, Sherlock. Y'all been pushing Turkey, so you can't have it both ways. You can't make us love him and force him on us and make everybody get in bed with him and then complain about his stinky feet. It just is what it is. So he's going to have some guys that he prefer over others. Okay, I think all of them do. If you look at how Eddie Hearn move and what he do, he definitely have preferences. If you look at what Oscar do, he definitely have preferences. For the longest time over there in Top Rank, I mean, you could say Bob had a preference. I think they kind of got better at, you know, managing a certain demographic of fighters over the years. They have. They did better when it came down to Keyshawn. They did better when it came down to Jared Anderson, that wave that came, you know, after a certain guy's era. They did better with some of those younger guys. They doing a phenomenal job when it come down to Abdullah, but they had preferences. Because when Bud should have been getting shine, guess who was getting it? Tyson Fury and Lomachenko. But you can't force a guy. You can't force Moneybag Yo on us and Turkey Al-Sheikh on us and then complain about him having a certain type of guy. It's like, well, if you sign that contract and you get in there with him, you got to understand that that's his guy. I mean, you might have to do more. You might have to take it into your own hands and render the judgment with the ones and the twos. Don't even give the judges a chance to. That's just how it goes. That's how it goes with any of these guys. Because right after we seen that Carlos Adames shit, like right after we seen that, right, that whole verdict, it was something that happened on PBC where people were saying the same thing about a PBC card. And the judges rendering their verdict at that point in time. But here recently, people were saying that, oh, this was just a scheme for him to get his guy a belt. Well, guess what? The WBC ordered and the WBO ordered. So the WBC ordered Hamza and Billy. The WBO is ordering Hamza and Diego. Now, I do know that Diego Pacheco was sent an offer. Shiraz and them said they didn't hear anything, and the next thing you know, they heard about this guy Kevin Saggio, you know what I'm saying, being Diego's next opponent. And I was like, ooh, Diego. What happened there? So basically right now, what they're basically saying is that Hamza Shiraz basically has a choice. Is he gonna go with Billy? That'll be his armadillo style. Can he beat that style? We seen Billy and Lester Martinez play a little bit of rock'em sock'em. And we just seen Diego Pacheco have a little bit of adversity against that armadillo style in Kevin Saggio. But this is going to be a high-speed technical boxing match. And you want to actually see who can box when it comes down to Diego Pacheco. Between the height and the length, and you know, they both like to fight behind the jab. They both got vicious uppercuts. That's something that I said, those were pretty much two of my guys. I said they was going to be the future. It's like, well, let's get it. I know my father-in-law, he probably want to see Christian and Billy get in the mix, so he'll probably want to see a Christian and Billy and a Hamza Shiraz for that WBC. He probably would want to see that. Would that probably be a more exciting fight? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I know that armadillo style that will present a challenge. You know what I'm saying? Especially if Hamza gets enticed into a fight with Christian and Billy and them Power Wings. But I think he can dispatch M. Billy, even though it might be a more exciting fight to the eye. But for me, being a boxing purist like me, just, you know what I'm saying, I want to see, sign me up for Diego Pacheco versus Hamza Sharaf. And either one of them gonna have to fight in Billy at some point. So that's just, you know what I'm saying, sign me up for that. But the ball is in Hamza's court. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see that. We're gonna see either Hamza versus Mbili or Hamza versus Diego Pacheco. And I know Diego Pacheco, I hopefully he ain't turning nothing down but his collar. And he won a shot at the title. It's time now. Hey, the man of the hour, the one we're gonna be talking about tonight, Abdullah Mason. I mean, he just showed, hey man, go and get your title. Xander Zaya said, he also showed, hey, go and get your title. Go and take your shot. Greatness might not always be there. You know what I'm saying? So that was part 2. Part 3, I kind of already touched on it. Belts mattered last week. This week, belts don't again. So we back to pressing our foot on the gas for Boots to fight Virgil. So belts don't matter in that case. So that means that the bullshit that Devin is doing, even though he went and got a strap, and since he's going to go get another strap, but just happened to be around the waist of a Lewis Crocker, then last week that's why that legitimized why. It's like, come on, man. I'm not even gonna harp on that, man. Y'all already know how I feel, man. It's politics as usual. You know what I'm saying? Politics as usual, man. Can we get away from this, man? Like, I don't understand the logic. I don't understand how, like, certain champions, when they do certain things, they get disrespected. Like, I've never understood, and I hate to keep harping on it. I never understood how a guy like Richardson Hitchens, who fight under the IBF, meaning if you get in that line, you can't rehydrate more than 10 pounds, period. Like, why would the champ like that be getting disrespected? And then another champion, it ain't no pressure for him to go fight nobody with a belt. It's like he can go up and get his big toe wet, then his up to his ankle, and then half his shin, and then his knee, and then it's like, oh yeah, maybe once it get up to my buttocks, and I feel like the temperature of the water, and it's a 97.8 degree. Like, come on, man. Do belts matter or don't they? What side of the fence are you on? Oh, it just depends on who's fighting. Right. Well, belts didn't matter too much when Keyshawn missed weight. And he tried to weight bully De Los Santos, and De Los Santos didn't fight. But then people was actually clowning De Los Santos for just taking the money and getting out of there with no pressure on Keyshawn, right? So now he get put to the front of the line to where his homie can come up, attempt to win a belt, and if he win this belt, he say he gonna drop it and leave it for the homie. But hopefully, somebody else, another young guy that I have a lot of hope. I'm putting a lot of faith into this other guy, Tito Mercado. Hopefully, he gonna spoil somebody's plans. Hopefully, he gonna be the monkey wrench between him and Jermaine Ortiz. They're gonna be the monkey wrench to some problems, because I'm tired of people playing these games with certain champions. They get a level of disrespect, and if it's enough people out here echoing certain sentiments, everybody gonna piggyback off this conversation and jump in on some high school shit to pick on this one guy, when we just letting certain people to do whatever the hell they want in the sport. They can go and do whatever. They can just jump up in the midst of a real fight, a real engagement. And they can just pop up and just jump up weight classes, just jump up and just move arbitrarily, at an inopportune time. And be like, ta-da, I'm at this weight division. And they can just do whatever they want. And they can target people that's tailor-made. But they're supposed to be the best thing since sliced bread. I don't get it. And if you know who I'm talking about, then you already know. 'Cause I ain't have to say no name. But if you can put a face to the scenario of the people that I just described, then you already know it's some bullshit, man. That's what I'm saying. We gotta leave that shit at the door. We gotta check that shit at 2025, man. Let's not take that in 2026, man. Let's leave that shit right there when we jump over the fence in 2026, man. Let's just leave this shit back in 2025. Get it out your system these next couple days. Get it out your system. You know, all that gaslighting or whatever, get it all out your system. Let's just leave it right here, because I'm getting tired of hearing about this stupid shit. Like, let's hold everybody. Let's put them all on the scale. Like I said, this channel, we want to know the length, the width, the depth, the breadth, the buoyancy, the capacity, the volume of them all. We put them all on the scale. You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. We don't pick and choose. But people don't understand when they be out here making certain arguments for certain fighters, like in the very conversations and the thing that they actually be saying, like right then and there, they present, especially somebody like me, who listen to everything they say. They present me with the arsenal of weapons, with the ammunition to pop their balloon, to kick their ball over the fence. And I don't even be trying. I'm like, hold on, because in one breath, it's just it listening and using their own logic against them. Like the last thing, before I get off of this, the whole argument about Oshaki and Shakur, and then Ray Ford and Oshaki. Like that whole argument. Like, but then when you use their guy who jumped up to 54 unannounced, wasn't going for no belt, just popped up unannounced. But then you would give slack to somebody like Tio for saying no, or aspiring to want to jump up and fight somebody notable, like a Boots, like a Bud. But then your guy don't no account. Like it just don't make no sense, man. It don't make no sense. So you can't. Come on, man. It can't get no more flagrant. Like, I'm tired of it, because it seems like I'll be going at certain people. It's just like your logic is just dumb as fuck, man. I mean, if we just gonna be honest, man, if I could just be frank and honest, your logic is just dumb as fuck. Because when we hold it up to the light and we apply it to two other boxers, and when I bring up these other scenarios, you look and you sound dumb as fuck. It ain't no easy way around it. What's up, AC?
What's good, Brody? What's going on, man?
What's happening, man? I was just into the housekeeping.
Oh, well, basically another one of those days for me. It ran a little late today, but at the end of the day, man, yeah. For me, are you finished with that housekeeping already?
Yeah, I just hadn't turned the page into the meat and potatoes yet. But yeah, I'm whatever you want to touch on.
Well, basically, I'm gonna say it like this. Yeah, I am seeing some of the Bud fans migrate. Hold on one second. Yeah, that's kind of my bad, but basically, yeah, I am seeing this weird migration, and I'm kind of not understanding why some of these fans are doing it. And I'm just like, okay, if you are a Boots fan, period, then it really never really mattered to a certain degree. So I don't get why in some instances, I'm hearing people place these arguments for Boots and yada yada yada, and I'm like, yeah, but the dude still ain't did X, Y, and Z.
Right.
If we're gonna give him this entitlement, you feel what I'm saying, without going through the gauntlet, without walking barefoot over the coals and shit like that, then we have to take this into consideration. Kirk told you that he got your back, but he ain't got your back for no bullshit fights. When you want to make a big fight, holla at him. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, it's like, okay, so you know that's there. What is your response to that, man, in big fights and setting yourself apart from every fighter? You turn around and tell that man, I want 2 tune-ups. You just showed us right there, you are not him. We shouldn't give you this thing based on that alone, because then it's no longer, if they're going to compare you to Roy Jones and say, what would Roy do? If we want to give you this Boots thing, we want to give you this Terrence thing, then it would have been, what would Bud have done? You know what I'm saying? I don't think Bud would have went up to 54 and challenged the Lima. I don't think that he would have done that. So I'm a little weird on that aspect. I did not know that fight was ordered. The Hamza and Diego Pacheco fight was actually ordered. I thought it was just them two wanting to come together and make something happen. You know what I'm saying? So
the WBO ordered Diego and Pacheco, Hamza and Diego. The WBC is Hamza and Billy.
Oh, okay. So, here's the crazy part about it. Just let me do a quick jump off, because I believe I saw something interesting there within the WBO and WBC rankings. So we go up to 168. The WBO orders a fight. Diego Pacheco, Hamza Siraz. They're the number 2 and number 3. Canelo sitting at the number 1 spot, but we don't know what Canelo's going to do. So if they ordered this fight, they're fighting for a vacant belt, right? You said the WBC is Hamza and Christian Mbili, with Canelo again sitting in the number 1 spot, but we don't know what that dude is doing. So I'm just asking this question. Since the WBC has no official champ, you have an interim champ. The WBO is ordering this fight. Are we looking at a potential straight off the back unification? Like the winner takes both of these belts? Is that what's trying to happen? And I'm just seeing right now that the IBF is now vacant.
Well, I would definitely see. I would see the urgency. I would see the urgency. I would see that. Yeah, it wouldn't be. It would just be add water. Like once Hamza make his decision, and he gets a belt, I'm thinking he's gonna go for that WBO, and Billy right there for the WBC. I'm thinking they would do that right away. I'm thinking they would do that right away. So in 2 fights, we'll have a champ with 2 straps already.
Yeah, so this is like a weird thing, because it's something I think we just talked about the other day, and now that gets ordered, and we were talking about the WBC and Hamza, but then everybody's been talking about, but the Turk want that Hamza and Canelo fighter, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know how they're going to work that out. That's just a little bit too green for me to be talking about right now and try to give something that's sustainable and arguable. But
they saying they got 20 days
to make that fight. But then see the effed up part with the WBO is if the Christian and Billy and Hamza fight is not actually done, then the WBO can step in and give them that 20 days and nobody's at risk of losing their spot. You feel what I'm saying? Because at 160, they did that same thing to Hamza with the WBO to remove him out of his number one spot where it was Denebek. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how he's gonna play that out. I really don't. But it's a good fight either way for me. And belts don't matter again. I missed that part between what fighter belts don't matter again. Who are they talking about? Virgil, Boots?
Yeah, I was saying this last week they mattered because, you know, Devin is deciding that all of a sudden he want to fight Lewis Clark, and I'm like, for what? But it's because he got the IBF. But then this week they're back on the whole, you know, Virgil is ducking and all that. I'm like, but he don't have no belt, and y'all just like, so they don't matter again. Like, so we're not. Okay.
Yeah. So if it's Virgil is ducking Boots, what belt does Boots have at 154? Because they both don't have a belt.
Virgil have. I mean, he got what, the interim.
Yeah. Okay. So
but I mean, I don't know. I don't get it, but
to me, the interim belt is like attempted murder and coming in second place. You know what I'm saying? It just solidifies your spot as a placeholder. Whatever you do with it is what you do with it. You know what I mean? So I'm a little indifferent on the interim status because before the interim status used to be like, you got the interim belt, your next fight up until if the champions got to deal with something, or you became interim in between the champions getting ready to fight a fight he was going to fight, and you become the interim, that automatically means you're going to fight the champ next. I mean, that's, for me, in my memory, that's how that used to work. Now the interim is just a belt, and these dudes just try to maneuver. Yeah, I'm the interim champion. They walk around with that interim belt over their shoulder like it's really saying something. And that's where I got to go back to the some of the early MMA guys who's like, you know, I beat his ass, but don't give me that interim belt. I don't want that. I want the real belt. And I used to love those MMA fighters who got down like that. Like, I'm not with that interim shit. You can keep that. And in fact, all right, if you're gonna give it to me, I'll give it to my man. Let him put it over there somewhere. I don't give a shit about that. I want the real shit. The shit that tell everybody who I am. You know, I'm just the second guy in place to the champ as far as they was concerned. And I think for the most part, some of these boxers need to go back to that and feel like that's just like putting a thumbtack on a specific date or X in a specific date that, yeah, that's a date that's coming soon. I'm looking forward to, and I'm going to attack this champion on this day, or make it happen as soon as possible. As soon as you get that belt, win, lose, or draw, it don't matter. And that's pretty much how I could just kind of sum that up.
Well, I think it's more so based on. It would be the way I saw it. What's going on, Aaron Jones? Salute, man. Salute, Aaron. But I think that is more like the interim is more based on the fighter's intentions.
Yeah.
So if you get an interim, like what they did with Oshaki, I'm kind of glad that he let it go, because all he was going to do is get in the way of JD Herrera and Sugar Nunez since Shakur was going to play that dumb game. Because in one breath, Shakur can go up there and let it be known that, okay, if I beat Tio, I'm gonna go up here, beat Tio, and when I win, I'm gonna drop the belt. and I'm gonna go back down to lightweight, or I'm gonna go fight Conor Ben. Either way, he can let that be known. But you actually had people that was trying to remove O'Shaquie from his spot that he had actually earned. Since he said these are my intentions. I'm gonna go ahead and defend this guy. I'm gonna wipe him off, but I got my eyes set on Shakur. So once I do that, I'm going to move up and use my WBC to latch on to my shot. Yeah. And so he got awarded that spot. That showed his intentions. He followed through with his plan, but they're gonna let Shakur do whatever just because he got this fight looming. That's why I said it was kind of odd timing that he went ahead and made this fight with Tio. Because if you listen to his interview, he said everybody in the boxing world knew what was going on. So you pretty much knew O'Shaquie was going to beat him, and that's what he was going to do. So they gave him the interim. That was his intentions, like to get the interim to have his shot. But they're like, for some fans, many of those people up there in that area, his fans, his only fans, and the people in Philly and New Jersey and all that, they was basically saying, nah, like, man, O'Shaquie need to fight Ray Ford. I'm like now y'all sounding dumb and y'all sound like hypocrites, because O'Shaquie is moving like a real boss, like he's moving like a real champ. He set his intentions. He did, like, he basically moved how you want fighters to move. He did everything he was supposed to do. And then Shakur was like, man, I'm not fighting him, man. You can't make me, you're not. Like, to me, that's like you, I mean, other than seeing him go, that's ducking.
Yeah.
Like, that's a flagrant, outright duck. If that's your intentions. Now, this is the thing. In Virgil's case, since he has the interim, he has to wait. This is why I was trying to tell everybody, don't get your chops all wet. Don't be like slobbing on yourself. Don't let your eyes get bigger than your stomach. Why? Because Virgil has an interim belt for Fundora. Fundora has a fight lined up. Do you really think, I asked this question 1,000 times, do you really think Oscar is going to allow his fighter to fight somebody else and get upseated when he has the catbird seat to a title? Like, but if he does, then of course that's why the price tag is so high. Because you are fighting me for the catbird seat to a belt where all I gotta do is wait my time. I'm in the seat to fight the champ next. So yeah, I'm gonna put a high ass price tag. If you don't want it, kick rocks, go find something else to do. Mind you, if Boots would have moved the way O'Shaquie would have moved, there wouldn't have been no choice.
Yeah. And
he had the WBA and the IBF. But for some reason, he didn't enact the WBA or the IBF. He didn't use his leverage.
Yeah, he did. And then
he's going to pull a Shakur, jump over all the way over to the WBC spot. But in Shakur's case, he had the WBC, he jumping all the way over to the WBO spot. It's like them two get the move funny, and when you break it down like a straight fan or like a boxing purist who crossing T's and dotting the I's and connecting all this shit, we making up stuff and we got hate for these guys. It don't make no sense. Meanwhile, you could just dismiss somebody like O'Shaquie who did everything he was supposed to do.
Yeah, and basically, he's what I said back in the day. How fighters used to move back in the day. You get that interim, you know you're going to fight a champion next. Everything else freezes until you get your shot at the champion. Win, lose, or draw. So O'Shaquie is doing it exactly the way I'm saying now. Here's where I look at dudes who have the interim belts, and I have to ask kind of like, what are you doing? And for me, one fight is Christian and Billy, and I hate to put this on dude because I definitely liked his performance. Rescindes, like I'm not really hearing too much, and for me it's like Rescindes, since he claims he retired, you should be talking to the WBA. I don't know if you are right now. I'm just speculating, but it should be a conversation to say, all right, if Terrence Crawford is retiring, it's either me and Canelo or me and Kazev. I don't really want to fuck. Melakuziev.
Back to Bully, yeah. Back to Bully.
You feel what I'm saying? So that's what I would be out voicing my opinions on. If Canelo ain't ready and Bud is retired, give me homeboy, let's fight for a belt. When Canelo get ready, I'll be a champion. He can come try to take my belt. That's the way I would be talking. You feel what I'm saying? Same thing with Mbili. Mbili, you're hearing about the Hamza situation, so it's like, lead that charge. Lead that charge. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be a passenger coming into a fight where it's your biggest fight because it's going to be for your first belt, and your opponent is a good guy. So you should be leading the charge on saying, yeah, I want that fight. Let's make that happen. Again, if Canelo's not ready, give me let's do this Hamza thing. You know what I'm saying? If not, let Hamza go over there and do this Pacheco thing and get that belt. I wouldn't be mad at him on whatever direction he goes in from there. So at the end of the day, there's some guys that are moving properly the way when they get that interim belt, and there are some guys that just sit on it and I guess trying to figure out life. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be sitting there trying to figure out life. If I was Isaac Cruz, would I be looking to do a rematch with Lamont Roach? I really don't think so. If I say I want to be the face of Mexican boxing, I'm the intern. The next person I want right after this Dalton Smith thing, what Sabril is, I'm calling out Sabril. That's if you really, really want to do it up like that. You know what I'm saying? Win, lose, or draw. So, you can just keep going down and noticing some of these guys who got these interns, and it's like, what are you really doing with it?
Yeah, it depends on, like in Isaac's case, he need to fight, like he need to wait his turn. Let Subaru get that mandatory out the way, and then he need to be stepping on the gas to get the fight.
Yeah.
If he's not doing that, then why are you just awarding it? Because if you're not doing that, you're playing to the sanctioning body, and you're creating a chaos, because at that point it's all about capitalism. It's all about, okay, this is a big revenue. I'm getting my 3% off of you. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's not meaningful.
Yeah.
But I like, hold on, let me address this guy. Diva 9846. I promise you he would. The ring gonna put him at 5 because he beat the best. Like, no, like, I mean, that, like, we don't, like, no, the ring don't dictate nothing. The ring don't dictate nothing. The ring will have you abolish or try to abolish the very ranking system that Turkey used. Because you gotta think, he hadn't always had the ring magazine in the belt. He just arbitrarily coming in, like when they arbitrarily decided that Boots and Stanyanis was number 1 and number 2. They arbitrarily did that. They just got awarded the belts that came off of Bud. They arbitrarily decided who the number 1 and number 2 was. Y'all, like, you probably the same, Diva. You probably the same one that was probably, you probably agreed with that bullshit that Shakur said the other day in the interview when he said, oh man, me and Zapata should have been for the ring, or they should have let him and Keyshawn. This bullshit that him and Keyshawn are number 1 and number 2. I don't know what planet y'all live on. I don't know what planet y'all live on. Like, Shakur is not gonna be top 5. Like, for what? Y'all don't even place T.O. there. I just seen the interview. I just seen the interview in the Art of Dialogue with Shakur is just now admitting that T.O. was pound for pound. It's like y'all play that bullshit. Like, okay, so why y'all been ain't acknowledging T.O. as pound for pound? Like he was undisputed at 35. He just came out and said that. He doing the same shit that Bud be doing. Like when you fight him or when you get ready, then it's all everybody got to get amped up or everybody got to get jacked up. Like y'all are just now, y'all trying to microwave this shit and y'all not gonna be able to do it. Like no, it was funny that this dude moved because he knew he had, for one, Mr. Gary Russell jumped up at the division. He still had to answer the question about Tank. He voluntarily got into it with Lamont. He keep adding ops onto the plate while saying, no, me and Keyshawn are best friends. And no, yeah, like, nah, Abdullah, he too young. It's like, we can't let him have all. He won't even fight the top guys in his own division. And just because he beat Williams Zepeda just got beat by Tevin Farmer. He got robbed. Yeah. Tevin Farmer dropped him and everything. Now, he came back and beat him in the second fight. But like, it's bullshit that because like the Ring magazine should have been on like it should have been up for grabs when he fought Zepeda. Based on what? Who was Zepeda? He didn't want to fight Moritaya. Yeah, he had words with Loma and all that, but he left Top Ring where all the belts was except for the one that Tank had. Told Eddie, don't make a fight with Tank. We're not gonna let. I don't care. Y'all can do all this yip yapping, man. Shakur or Keyshawn wasn't the number one or the number two. Tank was the number one in that division, and because the people that write, all the people that work for Turkey, they own the ring, so they gonna dictate. No, we all know Tank is number one at 35. You can get as many people. Y'all can say that shit to y'all blue in the face. Y'all not gonna get around the fact that Tank is number one at 35, bro. And just because he move up and fight T.O., that ain't gonna make him top 5, pound for pound. Based on what?
And that's where I'm like,
because he beat Oscar Valdez, because he beat Zepeda, because he beat Jamel Herring. Like, knock it off, man. Knock it off, man.
Yeah, like we've said over and over again. Compare Tank's last 4 opponents to Shakur's last 4 opponents. He only has one legitimate opponent, and that was William Zepeda. And William Zepeda was not that guy. I mean, he was a good fighter. You feel what I'm saying?
Go ahead, you stop. I don't know if you cut out or you did.
Zepeda hadn't done anything at 35 to warrant that it's a Ring magazine type of fight. Like, Zepeda didn't beat a series of guys who were like the toughest guys, and between these two guys, they wiped out or fought pretty much all the tough and all the big name guys that was willing to get in the ring with them. Unlike if we look at, again, and I'll use this example over and over again, when you look at Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford had the WBO. He had maybe 6 or 7 title defenses of that WBO strap at 147. Errol Spence got every last one of the 3 belts he had, one by one, mandatories and all. So he did what he was supposed to do. So that is a legitimate Ring magazine lineal championship fight. These two prove that they're the 2 best in the division. Tank has proven himself to be the best in the division. Shakur, there was still questions because at 35, we had Artem, Padley, De Los Santos, and Yoshino. That's what we had.
Yeah, like there was no no, man. I mean, I do have on my list. Now, this is the list I came up in December. I came up with this in December of 2023. Where's this list at? This is my list of this. I haven't changed this list since December of 2023. That's been the list. So Shakur is on the list. But him making him top 5 pound for pound, you're not gonna get me to agree with that for beating T.O. when people don't even recognize T.O. as such. Like, just because Shakur, like, no, man, like, no. If he stop him or knock him out, he do it in devastating fashion. He make him look like it's nothing. That'll add weight to the argument. Zepeda wasn't nothing. Tank is top 2 in the division, but I'm just telling you what the ring gonna do. I think Shakur should stay at 140 and he'll be the best there.
Possible, we don't know.
I mean, I was never high on Zepeda anyway. That's why I said the same way that listen. You talking to a guy who I just went on a rant about how Boots is chasing Virgil Ortiz, a guy that is tailor-made for him. Like, I never understood why Shakur was up there chasing William Zepeda, a guy that was tailor-made for him. A high-volume puncher who ain't really got no, like, real punching power. And, like, really, like, he just swing. He do a lot of arm punching. He's kind of out of position. He do heavy body work. He's been managed by Golden Boy. He's been managed by Oscar to get at the level. Like, he got beat by Tevin Farmer. He got dropped by Tevin Farmer. They robbed the man. So Shakur sat around and waited for that dude to go through 2 wars with Tevin Farmer. Then we seen what so Tevin Farmer dropped the dude in the first one and got robbed in the scorecards. Now, I ain't saying it was a blowout. It was kind of close, but Tevin Farmer did enough. Tevin Farmer go in there and get his ass obliterated by Schofield in the first round. Like, and then we see Williams Zepeda and what Shakur chose to do with him there. Like, you might not be at the right channel, bro. Like, I mean, we don't, like, yeah, Shakur is one of my guys. I call him the definition of my bosses to watch, but he's not, like, I don't give a fuck if the president put him on the top 5 pound for pound. We don't gotta acknowledge that shit. We know that he ain't pound for pound. I wouldn't have him being better than Tank. I wouldn't have him being better than Bam. I wouldn't have him being better than Inouye. I won't have him being better than Bivol. That's 4 right there. And it'll be arguable, like, once he beat T.O., yeah, you would say he's better than T.O. But no, I wouldn't put him in the top 5 pound for pound, no, because he want to arbitrarily move up. It's not like, and this is a guy that he sparred before, just like he sparred Zepeda before. Like, he not going up to fight Sabril, he not going up to fight Gary Antoine, and then he saying he gonna drop the belt. He ain't even gonna stay at 140. And then he gonna go up to 147 and put a rehydration clause on Conor Ben. Y'all just, like, Shakur fans just letting him do whatever the fuck he want, and then giving him all kind of excuses for not having none of the same energy when he was trying to go fight for Tank. And you can't say that you and your man, y'all number 1 and number 2, but you'll never fight him because he your brother. You won't fight Abdullah, who now he got a strap because he need more time and he's young. You won't fight O'Shaki, who's moving up to your division doing the same shit that Lamont Roach was doing with Tank, but you'll fight Lamont Roach. And whenever you ask about Tank, your hands hurt. Like, come on, man, we not doing that, bro. We be paying attention. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if you come here and all. We be paying attention. That shit ain't gonna slide. That shit ain't gonna slide over here, man.
Here's one thing. Just as a caveat, and the cherry on that cake you just baked and decorated for me. We've heard in the interview where Shakur said, I don't like to fight guys that I sparred, because then you don't really get the credit for it. But when you look at it, over 90% of the guys he fought, he sparred. I'm just saying, make that part make sense. I don't like to do something, but yet I keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? Shakur and Teofimo Lopez, they've gotten in the ring together. Both of them have admitted it, but some of the fans will sit around and try to feed you this narrative and gaslight you to say, nah, they never did, yada, yada, yada. This is the first time they getting in the ring. It should be X, Y, and Z. There's an interview with Teo stating that Yeah, the first time we met, his jab was crazy. It felt like it was impossible to get around. And he's talking about a 126, 130 Shakur Stevenson, maybe the 126 version of Shakur Stevenson. And he's like, yeah, that jab was crazy. It was like hard to get around. Second time they meet to spar, he was like, yeah, once I figured out that jab and got around that jab, everything else was easy. So that tells you he has some familiarity with Shakur, and it also tells you Shakur has some familiarity with him. So this type of scenario is going to make for an interesting fight.
I agree with that. Okay, so you logical. I agree with that, Dev. I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, there's too many holes in what Shakur say, man. I'll just be listening. That's why I say, man, I only because he got a fight coming up, I started listening to what he was saying here recently, because this is like, if you listen to him, you'll just be like, what the hell, man? Like, and it'll seem like you just hating on him. Like, it's just like with me, whenever I listen to Boot, like, you know, and it don't even necessarily be Boots himself, it be his team and his people. It, like, I could literally say it don't really be Boots himself. It be Boots' team and his entourage and all of them people that be making him look and sound dumb. But with Shakur come out and says a lot of things like out of his mouth. Him, his people, his moves, all of that shit, it don't line up, it don't add up. Because he wanted to spar Subriel Matias.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't spar. Even though he got a history of Panda, he know Panda, like his coach at the time, but he wanted to spar him. He didn't spar him. So I'm guessing that's why he fight. But there's never any discussions, because when it comes down to Richardson Hitchens, you know what they say? You go back and you look at every interview that Richardson Hitchens have. If you go to the comment section, there's always going to be somebody that say, how come he don't never say nothing about Gary Antoine? It's like, but y'all don't do that to somebody like Shakur. Like, why is Shakur not asked about Gary Antoine? Why is Shakur not asked about Subriel Matias? Like, why is Shakur not asked about these other guys, like even Richardson Hitchens? Why? Because they're cool. They're cool. Him and Richardson Hitchens are cool. It's at 35, him and Keyshawn were cool. It's like, you can't have, like, this is boxing, bro. This is mano a mano. It's every man for himself.
Yeah.
So which brings me to the man of the hour, man. But go ahead.
I just wanted to address this question. Who do we think is the more impressive win? The way the media have been trying to build this Virgil fight, of course you're going to say Virgil, but for like a boxing purist type of person, a person that says, okay, everybody is making excuses on fighting this other guy, it's got to be Bakram. Virgil is going to be on the face value. Virgil is like the porn magazine. It ain't much writing, and do you really believe this bitch loves, walking on the beach and holding hands and reading poetry? No. So we know the guy who's they're claiming is the boogeyman. Virgil has already made excuses. His team said, oh no, the reason why we ain't going after Bakram is because the IBF rehydration clause. I'm like,
the same thing them said, the same thing they said. Like, yeah. But you had the IBF. Look, this the reason why. Because the same thing about Tio. People say, okay, we saw Tio lose to Cambosis, right? We see him arguably lose to Sandor Martin. We see him arguably lose to Jermaine Ortiz. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I seen Sandor Martin do enough to beat him. I seen Jermaine Ortiz do enough to beat him. And I used to be big on Tio. I'm just stating what my eyeballs saw. My eyeballs also saw Virgil Ortiz get dropped by Bull Truck twice. And they robbed that man on the scorecard because of the business of boxing. We ain't seen that happen with Bakram. Last thing we said, yeah, we might be hyping it. People might be hyping it because they seen Bakram dispatch Tim Tszyu, and it was a bad run for Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu just had a bad break. He just came off that cut. He had PTSD. It might have been like it might have looked like if Devin would have got back in there with a real bad puncher, like right after the Ryan shit. That same shit might have happened, right? But we salute Thomas Hill, salute, bro. But we seen Virgil Ortiz get beat by Boychuk. We seen it. We saw it. He didn't, and Boychuk didn't get the nod. We also seen Boychuk go out there and get hands and feet put on him by Brandon Adams after that. So it's looking like, because it's just like Romain Vega. And this is a guy, Dev, if you don't know, Dev, I went to the Boots fight. I'm a Boots fan. I bought tickets, took my lady up there. We, you know what I'm saying, when it was in Atlantic City, when he beat, I witnessed the history when he put hands and feet on Martin Stanionis. So I'm a fan. But to me, it's more luster, because it'll be the same thing, just like when Sabril Matias, when he got beat by Liam Paro. When he got beat by Liam Paro, people was like, "Oh man, Liam Paro, blah blah blah." And then when Richardson Hitchens came by and beat him, Richardson Hitchens didn't get the credit for beating Liam Paro, but Liam Paro got all the credit for beating Sabril Matias. So somebody, the right person need to get credit for beating Bakram, who finally get in there and do it. Because if it's somebody like Madrimov, if it's somebody like Conwell, Perez, Xander, they're gonna get praised if they go in there and box his socks off. I didn't understand why Boost didn't do it, especially since, okay, the weight was the issue. So if weight was the issue, you have 47. You arbitrarily popped up. You jumped up there without letting nobody know that that's what you was going to do after being hot and heavy with Brian Norman. So you jump up there, you don't use your leverage, and you had a new weight class because of the weight. So, and you still can't do the 10-pound rehydration? That means you're supposed to be at 60.
Yeah. And here's the crazy part. This is how I feel about it. If you would have went over there and did the big boy joint and took out Bakram, your next fight is a unification. What's the problem? Your next fight is an actual unification. You can make that happen. You got that belt. Turk will fund you versus Bakram. He'll fund you in a unification. He'll give you, he'll pay for those fights for you, bro. But that's not what you did. You told that man, I want 2 tune-ups. So at the end of the day, you could have went after a boss. You know what I'm saying? You could have talked to Xander. You could have talked to Fundora. Everybody else is at your leisure. I actually have you beating the other champions easily. I think you stopped Fundora in a bad way with some body shot. Xander, you're going to outbox that dude. Abbas Baru may be a little tricky, but you'll figure him out. You'll get the win, although Abbas may make you, will probably look similar to the Karen fight. But I got you beating all 3 of these guys. All you had to do was go up there, exercise what you were supposed to, and put yourself in title contention. Or you say, you know what, I'm gonna put on my big boy boxers. You know what I'm saying? The ones that kind of fit snug around the leg and got the extra pouch, so my balls could hang. You know what I'm saying? You got them new joints, and you go up there and you get after Bakram, and you beat Bakram impressively, bro. The Turk got you on your entire freaking undisputed run. And there is another possible lineal championship fight for you at 54 if you played your cards right. And that person probably would have been Fundora.
But bottom line, AC, but this what I'm gonna say, man. Listen, for how we revere Boots and for how we revere Shakur, like newsflash, and I hate to be Captain Obvious, like we do expect more out of them. Why? Because they're saying that Shakur is like Floyd. They're saying that Boots is like Roy. That's why there is that. So, like for me, like and I got off of this when it came to Boots. I just said, look, I'm gonna let him live. I'm just gonna let him live. You know why? Because whenever you start pointing out certain things, people come on and say, oh man, they just hate. And it's not hate, it's the expectations that you have because of the level of talent that you have. So, like I said this before, it's okay when you're praising these guys like, oh, he's the second coming of Floyd. You know, he's just like Floyd. He might not be as offensive, but he's just like Floyd. Like, oh, he's just like Roy, man. He's the second coming of Roy. It's okay when you're singing those praises, but when you asked him to do Floyd type things, when you asked him to do Roy type things, that's when that's when it becomes a problem. So, like for me, I'm like, man, all you had, like, really, with the boxing being so thirsty for a new star, all you had to do was move up and beat shit down Bakram leg. You would have got everything you wanted, but we can't even ask you to do that. Why? The same flack that we give Virgil for not for the same when Robert Garcia came out and said, oh yeah, we would have done it, but the 10-pound rehydration. Now he has justifiable cause because the rhabdomyolysis, the shit that he went through with Imanta Stanionis. When they had a fight and it got fucked up 3 times. Once because appendicitis on Imanta Stanionis, twice because of rhabdomyolysis by Virgil. So with him saying it, people be like, I still call bullshit. I say bullshit because it's like, nah, you shouldn't be at 54 then. If you got to rehydrate more than that, you shouldn't be at 54. We can't say that with people when people being selective and wanting to fight Richardson Hitchens with the IBF. Because they need to weigh more than 150 on fight night. He don't get no slack. People get to say whatever the fuck they want to say about Richardson Hitchens, right? But then we can't expect the same thing from Boots. We can't put him under the same microscope, put him on the same scale, and say, nah, man, all we wanted you to do was move up. You had the IBF. Why you ain't pull a Oshaki? You know what I'm saying? Use your IBF. You just beat shit down Imanta Stanionis leg. Just move up and beat Bakram. You got a whole nother division. You went up from 47 to 54, and you just got a rehydration of 10 pounds. Okay, you just moved up, so now you ain't got to cut down so much. So what's the problem? You couldn't do that. So that was asking for too much. When we asked him to do that for Bakram, that was asking for too much. But then we got to revere you like you the second coming of Roy Jones, and we ain't seen you do nothing to nobody that wasn't tailor-made for you. Because when Karan came in there and he wasn't right there front and center for you to do whatever the fuck you wanted to do with him, that fight looked ugly. But now you getting another guy that's tailor-made for you, like a Roman Vila, come forward, pressure fighter, not too much head movement, not too much leg movement, like it's pretty much one trick pony. You getting another one of those, but we know what you do with those. That's my whole thing, man. And with Shakur, it's like, you want to be selective. You picking and choosing. That's why you pick Zepeda and then you pick T.O. But as far as the slick black guy, like we seen what happened with Edwin De Los Santos, but with the slick black guy, the same criticism that they had for Tank, well, he don't fight no slick black fighters. Then he go on to fight, even though Hector, he wasn't a slick black fighter, but he was a southpaw, a slick southpaw. You know what I'm saying? Then he fight Frank Martin. Then he go ahead and he get Roach in there. Same criticism that be going for Shakur. Like, don't be selective. And if we're gonna be critical about him, let's be just as critical about, you know what I'm saying, the people's favorite, just like we are all these boxers.
Yeah, and the crazy part for me is the selective thing. For some fighters, it's the easy talking point. Although we hear the reports that He tried to make an offer with this person, tried to make an offer with that person, tried to get a fight with this person. And these are the top guys that they say, oh, I want to see him fight. I want to see him fight. I want to see Tank versus Loma. I want to see Tank and Shakur. So what we do know that Tank tried to make those fights. His team reached out and the fight was then they're done with him and Loma, and then Loma walks away from it. We're hearing what was going on with Shakur, then it gets muddy between 1-2 fight deal, money, yada, yada, yada. Then you go back and Bob tells you, no, Tio, Loma, and Shakur, I wanted to make a fight with all three of them. I felt that my three guys, all three of my three guys could beat them. Then you have to ask, what happened, Bob? That's the $1 million question. That's the $1 million question at the top of the pyramid, or the $1 million question of, do you want to be a millionaire? Why did Shakur go in his direction? Why did Loma retire? And why did Tio get the fuck up out of Dodge and go to 140?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. That's the $1 million question. They don't want to ask. And then and Shakur, he's gotten it. I'm peeping him. That's why I say, man, he's cerebral. Like his 80% of his shit is already up here. He already massaged it into his fans' mind that he can do whatever the fuck he want to do. Like he plant the seeds early, and he have them watered. Then he get them co-signed by Bud and Andre Ward and Tim Bradley, depending on which side of the bed Tim Bradley wake up on. He'll co-sign that shit. And then he ain't got to do nothing. All he got to do is be Shakur. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that shit is amazing to me. Like how he get to just, you know what I'm saying? It's like he be playing defense outside the ring too as far as this shit. Like he don't even be held accountable for the moves.
Yeah, and then he tried to bring in his big sister talking all her shit. I'm like, bro, tell your big sister and her big ass she can come. She come get it from me. I'll give your big sister some work, because she don't need to be talking about what nobody doing. You know what I'm saying? Just run your own race, love. You know what I'm saying? Do your thing, run your own race, and leave this other stuff, you know, kind of alone. We don't need your interjection. That's like two dudes getting ready to get it on, and one of the niggas' girls keep talking, and you like, bro, why don't you do me a favor before I beat your ass? Why don't you shut that bitch the fuck up, bro? Because she getting on my nerve right now, and she writing checks that I don't think your ass can cash. So to me, it's just too many of what people are looking at, the best of the best boxers. Andre Ward, pound for pound. Bud Crawford, pound for pound. Clarissa Shields, pound for pound. And they got their little, you know, Bing Crosby brat pack and everything. And everybody keeps, you know, supporting each other and putting it out there. We are the best. We are the best. Nobody can fuck with us. Not even on your best day. We'll outclass you. We'll outbox you. Yada yada yada. Okay, to a certain degree, that you guys are showing that, but we talking about him. We talking about Lil Bro, and like I always keep saying these days, Lil Bro is family. You know, he's Lil Bro, but he ain't moving like he family. Like if your big brother's out there getting it and doing this thing, and you the little brother that's home doing the schoolwork and everything like that, you know, you'll never be Winston. Winston was the dude who did the work, and then he said, oh, y'all want to mess with my big brother? Y'all want to do that? Okay, so now you got to deal with the smart kid, the smart gangster dude. Shakur is not showing us that he's the smart gangster dude because he's not making those moves like that. You should have, you know, when the Tank fight was right there, you should have embraced that, took that. You feel what I'm saying? Now you're fighting Tio, and for some reason, you know, the Tio fight, maybe you're banking on the fact that Tio is not going to press you that much. You're not going to hurt your hands that much, but he's just as dangerous, in my opinion, as Tank. I mean, to a certain degree, you know what I'm saying? Because both of them dudes could knock you the fuck out. So my problem here is, for one guy, you got the injured hands, and you want to take your time and get your hands right before you do it. But yet you keep wanting to fight these other guys that are also tough competition. At least that's what it's looking like. You talking to you? I congratulate you on the Teo fight, and if you're talking about Lamont Roach after that, if you're gonna stay at 140, okay, cool. I ain't got no problems with that. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, if make up your mind what you gonna do. And here's the one caveat I wanted to ask about, because I can't really find too much information on it. But the other day I was scrolling down in the rankings, and at 130 pounds, I saw Mr. Gary Russell's name. He's ranked number 10 for the WBC at 130 pounds.
At 130?
Yeah, at 135 pounds, he ain't nowhere to be found. Now I just was like, so he's gonna make a run at 130 and not 135?
I don't know. I gotta hear from Gary. Yeah, I gotta
Yeah.
hear. I mean,
Yeah, and I watched that interview he just dropped and everything, where he was talking about the Teo fight, and I'm like, just listening to him break that down and everything, I was like, bro, Gary's a great coach. That dude he's a great coach. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I watched it because I had saw that like a couple of minutes before I saw the thumbnail for that interview, and he never spoke on it. So I was like, damn, wow.
I gotta go back and watch that one. But let me get down, because I see people itching. They itching for the main topic. Let me get into this real quick. And why I chose this as my fight of the year. Meat and potatoes, y'all. Man, there were so many reasons why I chose Abdullah Mason as my fighter of the year. But what can I say, man? Like right now, outside of him being young and him still, him doing a lot of the learning on the job, is he like the final pristine polished product? No. But he has a high enough skill set, he has the proper mindset, and he has a clutch gene. He showed clutch gene, he showed resilience, he showed dog, he showed that you can count on him. He's been active. He's fought 4 times this year. And he's one of those situations to where when they say the last shall be first and the first shall be last, that's Abdullah Mason this year. He's not a safety first fighter. He does not do the whole that's my best friend, that's family, that's my brother. He's like, no, I got my own brother. You've seen him. It was one of the hardest images of this year when he came out there to that Sam Norris and seeing all his brothers. They all was dressed in black and they was walking out. That was like one of the hardest ring walks I've seen this year. And that's all he needs. When they put up the names for Abdullah Mason and they say, all right, fight this guy, do this. And he was like, fight. It ain't no friends. You know what I'm saying? Even when they asked him about guys like Shakur and Tank, who, it's debatable whether or not he's ready for those guys. He said, yeah, I want to fight those guys. Like, boxing is going to reveal everything. Boxing is going to tell everything. All his answers been right. He's been under the gun. He had a lot of FaceTime, interacting with people, some industry plants that was asking them questions and all that. He's answered them all very well. He's answered the questions professionally. He's been frank and honest. There was no bullshitting. He does have a boxing dad who leading by example. He got a band of brothers. You can never catch him with his foot in his mouth. He's a thinker. He's cerebral. He got his own mantra, appetite for smoke. You know, he went over to foreign soil. He fought a fight in a daring manner, a fan-friendly manner, a manner in which, yeah, he might have made the job a little bit tougher, but he's a fighter. He wanted to fight. And that's one of the things where as he grow and he learned, he's like, yeah, I could have made the job easy on myself, but I wanted to fight. He does relentless body work. You know what I'm saying? He's a body snatcher. And the thing is, he's not waiting to get his grown man strength. They're not saying, oh man, when he get his grown man strength. No, he's sparking motherfuckers right now. He filled in. When Keyshawn shit the bed, when Keyshawn came out there and he decided he was going to weight bully and all that, I said, it ain't no fun. When the rabbit got the gun, and guess what? They put that man in. They put him right in the spot. He headlined the show. The event went on. Why? Because Abdullah Mason put his cape on. I asked earlier this year, I said, man, is he the potential prototype? Is this somebody that we can, like, is he the franchise player? Yes, he is. You can put the franchise on this young man back. Why? Because he lived the lifestyle of a boxer. He don't get out there and be all braggadocio and talk shit. He go out there and he let his hands do the talking. He don't gotta make a whole bunch of friends and oh, that's my brother and get big bro and little bro and play all those politics. It's like, no, he's very respectful of his opponent. You could tell his father worked with him on all his answers. You would think that, you know, outside of having a couple more catchphrases and just opening up a little bit more, but he's a young man. He's still learning on the job. I've never heard this man say anything derogatory or bad or out of character or nothing. Like, this is a guy that you can introduce to your family, like your folks. If you had a mother, you sat down like, hey, man, look at this young man. My lady, she said, man, I like this little dude. He came out, she was like, man, I like this little dude. Something about this little dude, I like this dude. I said, you like Abdullah? She was like, yeah, I like that little dude. Like, he's a likable guy. There's nothing disingenuous about him. When I came up with a name for him a while ago, I called him the Tarantula in my boxes to watch. I said, prepare for takeoff before the Sam Notes. And guess what? He went over there, he had got battle tested by a guy that was like 29 years old, a grown man. Gave him everything he wanted. Yeah, there was moments when he got caught, he got hit, but he toughed it out. He thugged it out. He dogged it out. He showed it his levels. He dug down his basket of tools and dug down to that body. He almost stopped him. If he would have realized he was hurt the way he was, he almost stopped him. But go ahead, AC.
Yeah, I was gonna say, when you was talking about that body work, Sam caught him a couple of times in the body where it was like, oh shit, Abdullah hurt. Whoa, he hurt off that one. He ain't like that one. And at the end of the day, I've been on the same thing. Although for me, I'm gonna put it out there as well. On face value, I feel the casuals and maybe the industry are gonna want to go with Terrence Crawford, but here's the caveat: after that WBC incident, I don't know if Bud is gonna get that. You feel what I'm saying? So the point I'm making is this: Abdullah Mason was my second choice. I had him at performance of the year. I saw what Bud Crawford did to Canelo, but when you look at Abdullah Mason, you look at what he did so far going in the year, going into that, you look at the previous year, you know, this kid is something different, you know. And for me, Malazar, when they both was at 35, I was saying this: if they get in the ring by 2026, I got Abdullah Mason beating Keyshawn. For the simple fact, this is why I had it. Abdullah Mason has more fights than Keyshawn. A lot of people don't know that. You feel what I'm saying? When I look at how Abdullah Mason came up, he wasn't handled. Yes, Keyshawn is a silver medalist, Olympian, and stuff like that. But we now can pretty much come with the conclusion, or come with this thought, that Keyshawn's kryptonite, much like for my guy Brian Norman and a couple of other fighters out there, their kryptonite might be the polished boxer, the guy with the ring IQ that got the power, the one that could turn you, maneuver you, control the tempo and stuff like that. You feel what I'm saying? So for me, when I look at who is more polished, who did the thing, did the gladiator thing, for me that was Abdullah, because when he went to the first stadium, he did his thing, and that was when he took over the Keyshawn card, and that's when he said, "Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?" Then he goes in there right before the Sam Noakes fight, and it says, they already know who you are. They already, are trying to figure you out. Now you win the crowd. And he fought the gladiator fight that won the crowd. He could have made it look easy, like his family was begging him to. But he was like, in his mind, he's like, I hear what y'all saying, but I gotta make this my moment. I gotta make this my moment, and I gotta stand out on this card. And when you actually look at the entire card, Abdullah Mason again, in a big fight on a grand scale, Turk behind it and all of that, he shows up, shows out, and steals the card. That's the way I saw it. That Sam Noakes fight, you can watch that over and over and over and over again. That fight is going to be classic. That's the Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns. That's the fucking, Roberto Duran and what's the name, Marvin Hagler. And I mean, you could just think of so many pairings that fight right there lived up to, and go back and put big names to it and say, hands down, bro, it's not even close. Nobody's doing what this dude is doing. So if he's this young, this talented, the future of boxing, he could easily, once he gets to his proper weight, or starts to get close to it, because I don't know how long he's going to stay at 35, and I don't think that Undisputed or anything like that might be on the table for him at 35. It might be on the table for him at 40. It might be on the table for him at 47. But if anybody is in position, realistically, to match Terence Crawford's accolades and what he's done, it's this guy right here. It's this guy right here, and he has the finishes, and he has all the tools. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? When he talks and he's laughing and everything, he is much more likable than Terence Crawford at the same junction of their life. Way more likable, way more open. So he just needs little tweaks here and there, and he'll be all right. So yeah, that's my argument for him. Like, yeah, I think he should get Fighter of the Year. I thought he was going to get it the following year, being that he was, I think, the only guy that fought five times in that year. So yeah, you're talking about a dude who, again, 2 years back to back, we're arguing that this man should be Fighter of the Year. Who the fuck else is doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Put it in the comments. Tell me your favorite fighter who's doing that. On the playback, y'all hear me say this? Put it in the comment section. Who's doing it? Who's doing it like that or doing it better than him?
He fought. Give y'all some background. He actually fought. 4 times this year.
Whoa.
Which is a good criteria for when you looking for a fighter, because you know the fighters that fight once a year and all that, that's cool, you know what I'm saying, once they get to a certain level. But you want to, when you like a guy and you want to see your fighter fight, you want him to fight 2 or 3 times a year. 3 times is probably the sweet spot. Like if you can get him 3, but sometimes 2, depending on the time. So 1 year might be 2, the next year might be 3, the next year might be 2. That's kind of like what I like. 2, 3, 2, 3, like that. You know what I'm saying? That maybe, you know, especially when, you know, because if your fighter is all of that and he's not ducking no smoke and he's always, you know, in, you know, high level fights, then, you know, you don't want to do like one of my other guys, Bam, where he fought like 5 times, got his jaw broke, but he still won, but he fought a little bit too much. And that's what he did the year before last. But Abdullah Mason, he fought Sam Noakes. That was in November. But back in June, he fought Nakatilia. And that only went 5 rounds. Mind you, well earlier, before all of the damage and all of that, a guy named Shakur Stevenson fought him. He didn't stop him. He got a decision. Abdullah Mason stopped him. Before that, he fought back in April, and then he fought in February. And the other fight in the 8-rounder, he went 4 rounds. In the 10-rounder, it went 6 rounds. In the 10-rounder with Nakatilia, it went 5 rounds. And then in his first championship fight, 12-rounder, he went the distance with a guy, Sam Noakes, who was 17-0. He never tasted defeat. He gave that man his first taste of defeat. You know, so, you know, one of the criteria is how frequent he fought. I want my fighters to fight at least 3 times, preferably a minimum of 2, but I prefer 3. But he fought 4 times, so I got to see the young man fight. He's not a he's not a safety first fighter. He's going in there trying to hurt you. You're not going in there trying to fence with you, trying to play patty cake bakers, man. He's trying to go in there and dispatch you. He's trying to render the judgment with his own 1s and 2s, with the left and the right. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, he's not even a grown man, and the thing is, he's stopping people already, and he does not have his grown man strength. He is a bona fide knockout artist, but he's not a knockout artist to where they're going to try to like demean him, because there are knockout artists like Tank, like they act like that's all he do. Oh, he just a knock. Well, it takes skill to be able to do that, because if it didn't, you wouldn't be able to do that. Like it's not like he just going there and boom, I'm just gonna land my big right hand and it's over. You know what I'm saying? He's not doing it a la Fabio Wardley style. He's not doing it a la Wilder style, to where they getting the shit outboxed and all of a sudden they land it. Like, no. He's going in there, he's working his jab, he's working the body, he's throwing his combinations, and they can't take the pain. And he's stopping them. You know what I'm saying? So he's skilled at this level. He's an 85% knockout ratio.
Yeah, you're not. That's a legit knockout artist.
he's 5'9", 74 inches. He has the frame to actually go on, and he has one of the best frames to be, because that's damn near Earl Spence size. He got a 74-inch reach, and he's 5'9". So I'm like an inch taller than Abdullah Mason. But he's my son height. My son is 5'9". So my son is 13. But he got a 74-inch reach. Like, Abdullah Mason, the real deal. Now, the fight that he had last year was against that guy, Johan Vasquez, when he actually tasted the canvas. That was last year. So we're talking about more than a year ago. technically that's been 13 months ago now. You know what I'm saying? When that actually happened. Since then, it's a year later. He's fought 4 times and he actually got a title shot. He took the pressure in his own hometown. He ingratiated himself with them fans down there in Norfolk when Keyshawn wet the bed. The show went on and they put it on his back. That's a lot of pressure for a young man that's 21 years old. You know what I'm saying? Just turned 21. He's fresh. You know, he's number 4 in the world. You know, that's why I gave Abdullah Mason my fight of the year. I didn't even look at Bud. I didn't even compare him to Bud. A couple people, I know CJ said it. I know this is like, yeah, people want to give him this and give him that. It's like, I didn't even look at that way. Like, cause to me, when I look at it comprehensively, his name wasn't involved in that. He wasn't with Victor Conte. He ain't part of the snack program. He ain't got a boxing dad that, like, he didn't do nothing. Like, he ain't out there. There ain't no controversy about no sanctioning fees. Like, this man's name and his reputation is unsmudged. There is no dirt. There is no bad. Like, I can't even. You tell me something. You find somebody that can tell me anything controversial or anything that's like bad or up for debate when it comes to Abdullah Mason. You can't find it. You can't find nothing on this man. Like, he is the fresh, like, even when I said him and Bam. Now, Bam could have an argument, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Bam could have an argument because he's just a cold little motherfucker, but he do work with Snack. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't do that many videos on Bam, because I say I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I don't do that many videos on Bam either. But Bam is one of my guys. I call him the mechanic in my boxes to watch. So this is the tarantula. I call Bam the mechanic. David Benavidez, he can be in the runnings for fighter of the year. You know what I'm saying? I would say that I give him my champion of the year, David Benavidez, because everybody had a question mark on David and, you know, who he really was, because he had just got ingratiated with the light heavyweight division. So there was a lot of questions, and the way that what he was able to do to Anthony Yard and how dangerous and how scary he actually looked, like, that's when he actually showed and lived up to his moniker.
Yeah,
in my opinion, like, the Mexican monster, because he looked scary. He looked like he could have like unalived that man, and I was looking like, man, when is they going to throw in the towel for this man? Like, what is the corner waiting for?
I'd never seen Yard get beat that bad. Like, he got beat the fuck up. Like, you got beat like, if that was a street fight, bro, you got beat the fuck. The whole hood know that Benny beat your ass like that. Like, bro, don't even walk down that nigga block, man. Don't like, if you don't, that boy beat you. He beat you something horrible, and that was a fight that I was saying from the get, that proved, you make that fight, you proved to me you could do anything at that division. You did that, and the way you did it, I'm like, man, Kovalev ain't beat that man ass like that. You were in, like, there was a point where you, if he had gas, he probably could have stopped Kovalev. There was points in that fight where he was taking it to Petervia. You feel what I'm saying? But in the Benavidez fight, there was no point where you had that man in danger. Like, you would throw a punch, David would take that shit, and then his whole facial expression just changed, and he just wails on you. Bam, 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 bam. 4 or 5 punch combination. I'm like, nah, bro, this shit is scary, man. This dude at 175 pounds is terrifying. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, David Benavidez would, in my opinion, take the title of champion of the year. And I could see his name being in the argument for fighter of the year. You know what I'm saying? Because didn't he beat Morrell this year as well? Or was Morrell last year?
I think it was last year.
Ah,
No, it was right at the beginning of the year. No, it was in the beginning of the year.
okay. So you take out a Morrell, and then you take out a Yard. Those are some, according to the way boxing was moving, those are two very, very impressive names to take out in 1 year. So there is that argument for Benavidez. Bam, I'm a little iffy on Bam. I'm a little iffy on Bam, but at the end of the day, man, I think Inoue got it last year because he did the whole undisputed thing in basically 2 fights, and he just jumped up there in 1 year, became undisputed. Okay, we'll give you that, but Abdullah Mason was running second place for that, and now we talking about Abdullah Mason again this year for possible fighter of the year. So that just tells you so much about how Abdullah Mason is moving, how his performances have been, and how when we always say, is this fighter a student of the game? To me, a student of the game means, you go home, you're not running around outside playing until, the street light come on and shit like that. You go to class, you go to the library, you go to study hall, you go home, eat, sleep, shit, shower, and then go to bed. Next morning is the same. The next day it's the same exact thing. So we talk about, students of the year, students. He has perfect attendance. He keeps showing up and showing out. That's what I would call perfect attendance. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's going through adversity, but he showed the grit, the tenacity of a champion, and he fought through it, and he did his thing. So,
yeah, I got this guy's got my knockout of the year. He had a shot at Jen, man. I had to give it to Brian Norman. He actually got my knockout of the year, man. Man, he made that man lose 6 weeks of his memory. Devastating. Caught him with a left hook, picked him up with it, put him down with it, and wiped his memory bank. As far as my upsets, there was a couple upsets. But I had my upset of the year. I give my upset of the year. It was close because it was either Resendiz and Caleb Plant, but it really boiled down to Rolly and Ryan. What Rolly did to Ryan, I didn't see that coming. I would have never guessed that Rolly would have been able to outbox Ryan, make him put his hands in his pockets. My performance of the year, this was my performance of the year. A clinical belt to ass. Now, Resendiz did get a definition off of me, like a thorough beatdown, no drops. That's giving me a Rendies. A belt to ass is what Oshaki did to Stephen Fulton. Whether it was orthodox, whether it was southpaw, he had full control. There was no lack. Cause sometimes fighters, when they switch, it's like, oh well, they're a defensive liability when they're in this position, or when they trying to finish, they go to that position. It's like, no, Oshaki Foster did everything he wanted from both stances, and Stephen Fulton, the caliber of fighter that they say Stephen Fulton is, he had zero answers. He looked hopeless. He broke the man's will. The man just wanted to go home and get a good night's sleep. I don't even think, well, he probably did take a shower, but I don't think he even wanted to do anything else. I think he just wanted to go home and get some rest, because he put belt to ass. Like, when you was younger and you get that ass whooping and you sitting there And it's a point in time when you take that deep, uncontrollable breath, and somebody, preferably you would want somebody there to console you, but most of the time when you was getting your ass beat like I did, there's nobody there. It's just you, sitting there thinking about what the fuck happened and how you're not gonna do that shit again. I think that's what Shockey Foster was able to do with Stephen Fulton. So I got my knockout of the year, my fighter of the year, my upset of the year. Oh, my most improved. I don't have an image for it, but I can go to this guy right here. This guy is my most improved because I didn't expect for him to do what he did. That guy who held the WBO strap. I give my most improved to Xander Zayas. Why? Because I thought he was good, but I did not see him beating Chino Perez like that. And the fact that he really not a puncher at all. Yet he boxed circles around Chino Perez, and Chino was actually able to beat one of my other guys in Charles Conwell. But I give Xander my most improved, man, and I'm really intrigued by this fight with Abbas Baru that's coming up. I don't know much about Abbas Baru. I was impressed by his victory over Tejas. But before, when I used to count Xander Zayas out, with him being a boxer and him having to do it, I give him a shot at beating Abbas. So I really don't know. To me, that's really a 50-50 fight. And I like the way Xander is actually talking. Xander is talking very mature. I gotta add him in that part of the new school, because prior to Abdullah Mason winning his title, Xander Zayas was the youngest champion up until for a couple weeks before Abdullah Mason actually won it. So I'll give him my most improved, like in my book, like the way I seen him, because I was thinking, oh man, I used to like Xander, but then I was like, man, when it comes down to the thumpers and all that, then I said, hold on, the dude can box, and he's using his style to get around and to kind of handicap his opponent. So it was refreshing to see. So I give him my most improved fighter of the year. So my KO of the year was Brian Norman. Upset of the year with Rolly over Ryan. Most improved was Xander Zayas. Performance of the year was Shockey Foster. That's most of my ODs. I used to go all in depth, but I don't do it no more.
For me, when I look at it, knockout of the year, I'm still gonna give that to Brian Norman. Most improved fighter, I probably won't give it to Xander. I would probably, in all honesty, what's his name that just fought? Who was that? Joe Cordina on that other card? Was that on that Devin card? That was Cordina, right?
On Devin card?
Yeah.
That wasn't on Devin card. That was on that just happened. That was on who was the main event on that card? Pacheco? That was on the Pacheco card.
Yeah. Well, that if I'm correct on who I'm thinking about, I
Cordina fought Gabriel Flores.
No. This dude was who the fuck was that? It's gotta be that same card that Abdullah fought on. It was that card.
Oh, the Devin. Let me go back to that card. That's Night of Champions, man. That was the card with David David, David and Yard, Bam and Puma, Devin and Brian and Abdullah Mason and Sam Nooks.
And then who was that? He was the last fight on the undercard. Why can't I remember this dude's name right now? But that dude right there, that was the most improved, because I saw him fight before and he looked a little sketchy, and then this fight he just looked impressive. The fuck is this dude's name? I see his face. I have everything right there, but I just can't pull the trigger.
What weight division he in?
I can't even tell you right now. My brain is so scrambled right now. But it would be. I know I'm going to remember him in the middle of something random and stuff like that. But I would give him.
Is he black?
Huh?
Is he black?
No. I think white guy, or I think white. I'll remember him. After I finish talking, I'll go back and find who I'm talking about. But for me, performance of the year, I'm still gonna go with Mason, because that's a fight that's gonna stick in your mind. For O'Shaki and Stephen Fulton, I didn't expect. I expected a much closer fight. I didn't expect that fight to be so one-sided. That was a true master class. So I kind of put that fight in the same category with Canelo and Bud. You feel what I'm saying? So you're just looking at excellent boxing, controlling every part of it, and things like that. But just the sheer amount of energy, everybody standing up in the crowd to fight, going back and forth each way. Sam has his moments, Abdullah has his moments. To me, that fight was hands down for me, Abdullah Mason versus Sam Nooks. And what was an upset of the year, I still got to go with that Rolly and Ryan joint. I just did not expect that. That was like, bro, you just outpointed Ryan Garcia. Rolly freaking Romero just outpointed Ryan Garcia. Nah. So that part right there had me like, wow, this dude really did something. And for the same argument, you can kind of give him the most improved jump off as well, or put his name in that argument, because again, he outpointed Ryan Garcia, who I'm not saying Ryan Garcia is some world beater or some shit like that, but hands down, everybody was feeling Rolly got the power, but Ryan got the boxing skill.
That can be argued. That Rolly might be the most improved. It might be.
So it's a little, there's some good names. There's some good names out there that are, that can be put in that most improved argument and stuff like that, which at the end of the day, if it's any of the names we're talking about, I wouldn't be mad. And that's where I land a plane on that one.
Yeah, man. I heard people getting real outrageous about a lot of the oldies, is what I call them, the of the years. But I'm not going. I used to do it, man, and then I'm like, man, I'm not gonna give nobody no fuel. Not gonna give nobody no fuel no more, man. To use. But I wanted to come out and give Abdullah his salutes, man, because that's a champion we all can get behind, a champion that is going to represent the sport right. Like, I look at it like comprehensively. It's not just what they do in the ring, it's what they do outside the ring, it's what they can contribute to the sport, and if we were to gauge where they at right now, where they're going, what they're going to contribute to the sport. And I think comprehensively, because I wanted Brian Norman to be in this conversation so bad, man, because of the personality and what he bring to the table, personality and the mindset that he had. Because with the mindset of Brian Norman, what he had and what he bring to the table, we would get big fights. That's why I kind of was like, I wanted him to win so bad because of the mindset that he had. Because he's going to give you an opportunity. He wasn't going to play politics. He wasn't going to duck. He wasn't going to dodge. You know what I'm saying? The energy that he brought and how he was approaching the fight. He reminded me of Earl Spence a lot. And how Earl Spence is like, look, man, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And you could count on his word. You didn't have to worry about him reneging. So I wanted to somehow have Brian Norman in there. I hope that, he uses, his experience with Devin, to his advantage, and he learns from it, that he grows from it, that he allows that to actually not just pull a T.O. We're going to see. We're going to see if T.O. has learned, but not just pull a T.O. and just move forward, but actually get the proper training so that if he comes across that particular style, he can do what he needs to do. I think part of it was the big bright light. Some of it may have been acclimation. I won't make no excuses for him. But when I was looking at the young guys, it was Brian Norman, Bam, Abdullah, and I think that dude Derek Scooter Davis, Shark, the Shark. Like, those are my guys that I was like, okay, with these guys at the helm, boxing is in a safe spot. If we can get behind these guys and these guys don't, they keep these trains on the tracks, we have something that we can actually build around and something we can look forward to. Why? Because it ain't no shenanigans outside the ring. Like, they don't do all that whole hoopla. They don't need a whole gimmicky promotion and use racism and colorism and this guy's you don't get none of that with them. They go in there, they talk with these ones and these twos. They conduct themselves like professionals. They fight often. They're not safety first fighters. So I wanted to salute them guys, you know what I'm saying? Because I think boxing is boxing has a bright future if you rest it, on their shoulders. So I wanted to salute Abdullah, man. That's really why I gave my fighter of the year, man. Consistency, the amount of times that he performs, how he conducts himself, the style of fighting, the skill set, and the fact that the sky's still the limit because he's still learning on the job.
And the guy that I was talking about was Vito Milanicki.
Oh, what card was that?
I was impressed with Vito in that fight on that card. Like, whoa, you done turned a whole bunch of corners on this one, bro.
Was that the Canelo?
He got the stoppage with a hurt hand.
Was that the Canelo on the card?
No, it's Night of Champions.
Oh,
he was the last. Him and that dude was the last fight on the undercard.
Okay, yeah.
It was him versus Samuel
the Black Panther.
Namoa. Yeah.
It was White Magic versus Black Panther. I remember.
Yeah, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. So most improved. Yeah. Okay.
So we got
I can see that. That's good. That's why I say my answers ain't. Those are just guys that I saw. But I'm like just like upset. It was a couple upsets. Like you had Tiger Johnson and Nicholas Flores. You had on paper that was an upset. Like on paper, you had people could say the Fulton Oshaki thing because a lot of people was actually acting like Fulton was just gonna go in there and like all.
Walk
If you ask,
over him. Yeah.
yeah, you ask $1 million worth of game and them. You ask Cam and them. You ask all the quote unquote experts. You know what I'm saying? They had that shit wrong.
So we got to introduce this other name. Right now, it seems to be a 4-way race. Got to introduce another name to most improved. Tiger Johnson. At 47, Tiger Johnson looks incredible.
Yeah, he looked good.
Yeah, because when you go back to the fight prior to that with Prentice yelling on the side of the ring, let him go. Prentice looking like, and they asked him like, what, you're yelling so much, it's like you want to get in there, and he's like, yeah, I'm almost ready to fight for him and stuff like that. So yeah, there's some stuff that happened in 2025, man.
And knockout of the year could have been rivaled by Frank, but I give Frank my comeback fighter of the year. What a hell of a comeback by Frank, man. To come back and do that and like boom, like the way he sparked out Barthélemy, that could have been knockout of the year because he hit him and his head went back and hit that canvas, man. So he's definitely a runner up in the knockout of the year, but he's definitely like my comeback fighter of the year, man. Because I got high hopes for Frank Martin.
If I had a top 5 slots of performance of the year, I think that knockout of Frank Martin would probably solidify the number 5 spot because the way he was switching his legs and giving them angles and peppering them up like switch pop pop doop pop 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 doop pop pop pop, like everything was firing on all 10 pistons in that fight right there. And for me, it was just like, damn, Frank is nice. Like I knew Frank was nice, but that fight right there was like, Frank is nice. Like, wow. Like he got the footwork, he got the boxing skill. Like you couldn't, maybe, that 35 wasn't the best for him because when he cut in weight, it's like you're playing a dangerous game because you're so close to just cutting muscle. Because you're so lean, you're so built, and you look like one of those dudes that walk around with less than 2% body fat. So cutting the weight, I don't know about that. You may be extracting too much water and good fluids from your body to make the 35. But at 40, bro, you right on the money right there, bro. Some things can happen. Some things could really, really happen. And I'm happy to be a part of this conversation because at the end of the day, Mason deserves, to always be put in the proper conversations in the proper context, and things like that, because they're going to be the weird goofies out there that are going to try to tear him down as he keeps rising. And throughout his career, they're going to use the one talking point and the only talking point that they have. Well, he got dropped by that dude, and they're going to say he's a journeyman, whatever. But at the end of the day, he was working on something. That same thing he was working on, he got the KO for it right after. And the thing that they're going to forget, they're going to keep bringing it up, but it's like one of those situations where you got to keep reminding people, yeah, but the very next round, he stopped him. So what is your actual point? I mean,
yeah, that was like 13. That was like 13 months ago. That was last year.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, let me think of well, there are so many different examples of many other fighters where they're always going to try to bring up that one situation, in mind, like with Lamont Roach. They're gonna try to tear Lamont Roach down because he lost to Jamel Herring. And it's like, but what did he do after that loss? And how many years ago was that loss? He's been on terror. He's been on a terror, so stop. I mean, come on with the Jamal Herring thing. Like that fight doesn't define his career, because at the end of the day, he's had 2 career-defining fights, and that was with Tank and Pitbull Cruz. What are we talking? So, for me,
well, what would you say? So we can wrap it up. But what would you say? What would you say your fight of the year was?
It's still going to be Mason versus Moose. I out of all the fights that happened throughout the year, I'm going to be honest with you. There's the Brian Norman loss, Devin Haney victory. There's the Oshaki fight, the Mason fight, Bud fight, and David Benavidez fight. Those are the fights that keep replaying in my mind, you know, and things like that. So I wouldn't be mad if anybody had any of those fights as their fight of the year, but I'm still gonna land my plane in that field, because that was the give and take. That was everything. Beautiful boxing, give and take, great body work, great shots, great. It was just, if there was a big pot of jambalaya, that them 2 guys would be every one of the ingredients, including the seasoning.
Yeah, I got one more for you. I think that a candidate for fight of the year might have been I don't like the decision, but like that Sabril Matias and Alberto Puello.
Oh,
that was a tough fight, man. That was like a tale of 2 halves. And then a possible upset of the year was probably what's his name? Joseph Parker and
Gordley.
Coley. Because remember, he stopped Coley.
Yeah,
he knocked Coley out. You know what I'm saying? Now, I didn't see that. Even though it was late, it was a late replacement. It was late, you know what I'm saying? And you know, I was kind of, people be thinking that might have been a little fix-a-rooney. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I hope not. But
there's got to be some kind of award for Fabio Wardley, though. That dude is like, that dude is something different to me, man. He's like the blue collar, you know.
Yeah, something like that. Some kind of award to where it's like, yeah, he might be the underrated. He might be the underrated guy. He might be the most underrated fighter out there.
Yeah, because
he might be most underrated because people, he's like an afterthought, but he can't be too underrated because Usyk was like, give me Wilder. I'll take some Wilder.
Yeah. So great cook, man. You know what I'm saying? Great way to end it off, and people who watch this on the replay will be like, wow, these guys really brought out some fights. You feel what I'm saying? And they have great fights for each category. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, somebody could easily in the comment section, please, if you hear this and you stay to the end, if you have a different fight that was crazy and it may not have been viewed like that in the American market, or maybe a lot of people saw it, but because there were so many other bigger names that fought, hey, you know, put those fights in there. I mean, Malazar got his guy, the Puerto Rican, who's that 108 pounder dude? So
Yes,
yeah. So at the end of the day, put your joints there, man. We'll go back and look at it, and at the end of the day, man, everybody's opinion on what your fight was, it matters. What fight moved you the most? Forget what I'm saying. You feel what I'm saying? I'm only telling you what fight moved you the most. And this is to the audience who watch it on the playback. It may not be none of the fights we talked about. You know what I'm saying? But what fight actually moved you the most this year, and what was the most impressive fight that you saw this year? I'd like to know.
good stuff, man. As always, man. Like, yeah. If you have one of the oldies that we discussed, we had knockout of the year, we had comeback fighter of the year, we had fighter of the year, we had fighter of the year, we had most underrated fighter, we had, did I say comeback fighter of the year?
Yeah.
And we had champion of the year. It started getting cheesy. We had upset of the year. Sometimes it get a little cheesy when you just start looking for things, but if it's any one of those things like AC said, and we might have overlooked something, if you had an upset that was better, if you had a knockout that you thought was better, put us on. You know what I'm saying? We'll come back and acknowledge it, and we'll discuss it. But if you haven't, go back to the beginning and listen to the intro, because I want us to do this. I want us to do a lot of the things I was talking about in the intro going into 2026, man. Just being reasonable, being willing to speak out in real time about things, and not being, hindsight is 2020 in 2026. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I had, man. I appreciate you coming through, AC.
Yeah, just the last thing I wanted to say with this, for pro box fans out there, man. For me, I can't remember half those dudes' names, and honestly, you got a lot of shit that we just discussed there at that level on pro box, because them dudes be scrapping. So, I'm a huge fan of pro box myself. So, if you want to include pro box fighters, please do. You know what I'm saying? Because they fighting. So at the end of the day, great show, Body, and on to the next one, man.
All right, man. You have a good evening, bro.
You too, bro.
All right, man. Yeah, man. Sleeper show. This is a sleeper show, man. Appreciate everybody who came out, man, and supported. I haven't played this, man, but support the channel. It's always a privilege and an honor to be able to talk that boxing, man. Silence is consent is the mantra for the channel, meaning that all it takes for evil to prevail is for men and women to remain silent. So we speak to those things that need to be spoken to. We don't do yes men over here. You don't have to agree. As long as you're using logic and sound reasoning, we're not going to gaslight you. We're not going to get you to abandon your sense of reasoning, your ability to critical think. It's not memorization and regurgitation. We're not going to rewrite history just because of the outcome of fights over here. We're not going to get you to second guess your memory. I have a memory like an elephant. I have a photographic memory, so it's hard to get something by me. And plus, I've been trained to notice patterns and behaviors from all my years of troubleshooting and trying to fix things. So as I'm trying to fix the sport of boxing by having appropriate conversations, it's very hard to get something by me, because I use a level of reasoning, mainly your level of reasoning, your level of logic, your way of thinking against you when you're sounding real stupid. What I want to do is I want us to jump over a fence, right? And I want us to leave all the bullshit on the other side of the fence in 2026. There's a couple days left. But let's stop gaslighting, man. Let's stop using different standards for different boxers. Let's not Let's not hold this one box over here to this high level and this standard, and then your fighter get to do whatever the fuck they want to do. That's not what we're going to do. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you was able to put something in your rucksack and march on. This is fruits and veggie, not that Reggie, that fact-based content, not opinion-based, even though we have ours. Feel free to disagree. You know what I'm saying? That is welcomed over here. You do not have to agree with everything. But if you do happen to disagree, I just ask that you do it in a logical way and be able to explain yourself. I don't think that's much to ask, man. Make sure you hit the super chat. It's a shame that people get super chatted for thoughts and ideas that originate over here. So I ask that you support this channel over here. Whether it's Cash App, super chat, hype the video, share the video, comment, like, subscribe. All of those things. Give your feedback. Comment in the comment section. If it's something, if you want to link up with me, Bodywork Boxing 24/7@gmail.com is the email, right? If you want me to be able to send you the link so that you can start the show, you can be with the show the whole way through, send me your email address. Let me know if you got a topic for a show, or if it's something you want to talk to me about. If you want to hash it out, hit me up. Bodywork Boxing 24/7@gmail.com. You know what I'm saying? I'm a reasonable guy, man. Talk to me, holler at me, I'll talk back. Anyways, thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch, but you was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.